I'm Chess Guy, welcome to Chess Time. Now, usually whenever I make one of these videos, I sit down and play maybe like 5 or 6 different games and figure out which one I think is the most entertaining. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Now, not too long ago, I saw a specific opening that really caught my eye, and I wanted to find a way to recreate it. Because it seemed like it would almost win you every single game if it was done. So let me show you what it is at first. So it starts off with the king's pawn opening, moving it up 2. Now, this is already different than what I usually do, because usually I do the queen's pawn opening and then follow it up with maybe a knight or a bishop. But this time we're doing king's pawn, and I really needed to learn how to do king's pawn anyways, because it activates both bishop and queen to do whatever they want, with both knights also being available. So how this works is that if they bring this pawn out here, I'd be able to follow up with this with a knight, and if they move this pawn right here, then we're in business. You take this, and it may seem like a bad idea trading a pawn for a knight. They take it right there, and you bring your queen out here. Now this immediately puts the king in check, so they have to find a way to, well, get out of check. They don't have very many options, but the one that they might be attracted to is this pawn to g6. Now if they end up doing that, it does threaten the queen, but let's say, all right, so the pawn is down here, I move out of the way, I take this pawn right here, they're now in check, and I have a straight shot to their rook. Their only option at this point is to either bring queen, bishop, or knight out, and none of which have the ability to protect this rook. So let's say they bring out a queen, take the rook there. They have no way of coming back from this, really. So we're going to see if we're actually able to pull this off in a real game. Just a little bit of an editor's note. I've played maybe like 20 games over the past few hours, and I haven't found a single person who's ever fallen for that. You'd have to be an advanced level idiot in order to fall for that. So, I mean, I'm working on it. I'll find someone eventually, and I'll let you guys know in the form of a video, but until then, just know that it is impossible to find someone that excruciatingly stupid, and you're probably not going to see it in this video. But here's a few games of me trying to figure out how to use the king's pawn opening. Enjoy. Now I start off as black, so it might be a lot harder to do, but theoretically it's still possible if he goes with the king's pawn. And he does. Now the problem with this is that they have to specifically move this pawn up here. If they move their knight, or if the bishop, or the queen, or any of the other pawns, then it effectively doesn't work anymore, and I just have to play a game starting out with king's pawn opening, and I have no idea how that's played. So regardless, it's going to be a learning experience for me. Alright, so that opening is now down the drain. Let's see if we're able to make something of it, though. Now we move up the knight to take control of the center, get some pressure on those center 4 spaces, and that should hopefully force him to do something here. He brings his knight out, and now he has control of all 4 of these squares right here. Now he's not able to take this, of course, whoa, never mind. Now normally in the queen's pawn opening, if they try and take that with their knight, you're able to recapture with your queen, but as you can see, this is not a queen. So we're going to find a way to put some pressure onto this piece so that he doesn't just take it. I have a few options, one of which is just to move this pawn out and then pressure it there. Second option is to bring the knight out and pressure it that way. And the fourth option is, of course, just to bring the queen out and do that, but I don't really want to do that. It'll block the bishop. So I think I'm just going to move this knight up here, get more of the center. Very quick retaliation there. He looks like he's going for something, and I think I might know what it is. Now, normally, whenever you move this knight out and then this bishop right here specifically, what they're going for is to try and go for this fork right here. They move this way with the knight, then here, take the pawn, and with this covering here, I have nothing that I'm able to do, and they would either take the rook or the queen based on if I move either the queen or the rook. This bishop being here is so that I wouldn't be able to take his knight. If he moved it down here, I wouldn't be able to just recapture it with my king. Now, there are a few ways to defend against this. Normally, just to move the knight right here, puts pressure right there. They can't do it anymore. But seeing as the knight is out, I can't do that. Second option is just to stop them from getting here in the first place. which the easiest way to do that is just by moving the pawn out right here. And that's really the only option that's available to me right now. Pawn is moved out just to give his bishop some room so that he's able to maybe threaten something. Normally the move after being able to activate the bishop is to pin this knight to the queen, making it to where you can't move the knight or else they'd take the queen. But because this pawn right here, this beautiful specimen right here, is stopping both the knight and the bishop, there's no way for him to actually be able to do that in the first place, so it's perfect. Now in chess, the 4 most crucial spaces to control on the entire board is these 4 squares right here. Now the way that you would do that is by usually maybe threatening with a knight, or getting a pawn up in there, or putting a bishop somewhere along this outside region, and then threatening the inside. And that is easily done by bishop to c5. They move their bishop down here probably to threaten mine, and because I don't really have any pawns or anything protecting it, it might take it if I don't put some pressure on it. I always want to be wary about moving this pawn right here though, because of the event that they get a bishop on this file, and then they're able to take the rook. So I'm going to use this one, and hopefully if we deal with this pawn, we might be able to get into the center and control these 4 spaces. This is a blunder. Because you see, by taking this with my pawn, it now forks these 2 pieces. The idea is then that I'd be able to, after I take this, he'd be able to recapture it with his knight. But then so would I. And I only just now realized that his queen is also attacking this piece, so it may not be as big of a blunder as I thought. However, there still is room to do something here. I can just taste it. This pin right here, it can work somehow. I can get it to work, and then I'd have 1 less attacker, 2 less attackers actually. Well, actually no, just the 1, because this queen isn't affected, it's just the knight. I'll just go with it. I'll freestyle on the way. Alright, and of course he takes the pawn. I want to get this knight involved. I have a way of doing that. I have 2 ways of doing that, actually. Number 1 is by moving over here and then threatening this bishop. However, that leaves this knight being able to move wherever it wants. Number 2 is to move this pawn right here. He'll take right there. I move my knight in. He'll use his knight. I use my queen. He takes my queen because his bishop is right there and I didn't even see it. Plan A. And unfortunately, just as I thought, he takes the knight. So, of course, gonna recapture. Now he takes that, and it's gonna be a bit of a bad situation here because I'm lining up every single one of my pawns, but I don't really have a choice. Our queens have a straight shot at each other, so whoever takes that is going to lose a little bit of tempo, just like that. And because they took it with their queen, I'm able to move my rook out here. That way, okay, well, still going to take it though. Now these 3 pawns are right here, these 3 magical pawns. If they stay here, all you have to do is get a rook up there, and it's checkmate. So, in order to stop him from maybe moving one of these pawns up to try and threaten my knight, I'm going to move it back. And hopefully, he just doesn't know how to play chess. However, not moving this bishop with that turn, he now has the ability to, okay, never mind. Well then, let's do this. Threatens the pawn. If he takes this, I recapture. And if he moves this pawn up, I also recapture. He's going to take it. I'm in a bad position. But I mean, he hasn't moved any of these. I hate being given the gift of prophecy. Who knows? Maybe he'll misplay. Wait, hold on a second. By moving this out of the way, then I can just recapture if he takes right there. What was I so upset about? New plan. Find a way to put my knight right here. And we're going to start off by threatening this pawn. Right, why can't people just not see something for once? Well, if I move this pawn right here, he's going to take it, and then I have a straight shot there anyways, and then I can threaten whichever one I want. Or even I could just recapture with my knight. But the absolute best case scenario is if he tries to pass it, I take with I take with the rook. I move this pawn up, and then boom, pressure there. There's a pawn there. Weird move. Very weird move. But he is just going to protect this spot right here by using a... But he could have done that even if he didn't use this. I don't know. Gonna threaten it regardless because he moved away from the stupid pawn. Uh-huh. 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 Alright, so this is now going to be an end game. I need to promote one of these 3 pawns, because I have a king, 2 pawns over here, he has 3 pawns, and his king is all the way back here. And he has to get all these 3 pawns over to here, and my king is right there. So I'm in a good position. That's what that means. You fool! Oh, you blundering idiot! You could have just taken that right there! Okay, game 2, or should I say game 1, because it's been like over a month. That's a king's pawn. That's a knight. Alright, back to normal, boring old chess. Bringing both knights out, I see, okay. I think I'm going to do something that is known as fianchettoing in chess. So you bring this pawn out, or this one, it could be done on both sides. Bring it out by 1, then you put the bishop over here, and you have a straight shot to their rook. Huh? I mean, that's fine. By fianchettoing, it's just putting more pressure onto this. So trading here wouldn't relieve pressure on either of these 2 squares. Yep. Alright, let's try and build up our position a little bit here. We're going to be castling to safety in a second, which is why we need to get this knight out of the way. And following with the game plan, go for a castle. Man, this guy really hates bishops. Well, in the time we have, might as well just develop a bishop. Get out. I should have thought of that, but it didn't, so there's nothing I can do. Yeah, that's about exactly what I expected. I already castled the king, so it's not a big, bad deal that I'm moving it now. What did he just take? Pawn. Alright, so let's start doing some stuff here. Now, his queen is his key point of attack here, so he's definitely not going to move that. Yeah, of course. I'm going to put my queen right here. He has to move this knight, and if he moves it to a place where he actually, can move it, like a weird spot, like right here, then I would effectively just be able to take this pawn, and then, well, 1, free pawn, and 2, straight shot to the rook. Free pawn. Another free pawn. Alright, so what's he going for here? He's going for my bishop, that's what he's going for. I am going to move it out of the way. Alright, yeah, that's definitely a move. Heat map time. You know what? I like the move queen to a5, because if he moves his knight, that's a free queen. And eventually, I could do something weird, like bishop to g2, and then take... Wait, no, I can't. Well, the beginning concept of that trap is very nice. I like it, so... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, man. Alright, let's just throw this bishop down here. Rooks are still connected. If he takes, I take. He takes, I take. And he's, very clearly not going to do that. Didn't think about that, because I can't take that, or else it would just, take my king. So, that's off the table. But I can move here. Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Still fine. Still fine. Absolutely still fine. Definitely still fine. Yay, but see, these 3 pawns are lining up. We are still fine, and now his only option to put me in check requires a queen trade. So we're fine, if you didn't pick up on that before. Damn it, come on, just stop doing that. Going back down here. Now he definitely can't put me in check. Never mind. Now he can't put me in check. I just bring... What? Why did you do that? There's a quick request to... There it is. But you know what they say in chess? If their mouse slips, obliterate them. Oh my god, there is a spider on my wall. Might as well just stick to just doing the regular king's pawn opening, because I need to know that anyways, and this spider is moving. I'm gonna go kill it. Are you dead? He's dead. We got him.